I would have an hour, but I just read from the program that I have 50 minutes.
So sorry for everyone who's completing that, but I thought that maybe it's better to have all who want to come here and have options than have like less people.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
At least you get the idea.
Push the button on, yeah.
Okay, this conversation was welcome. Yes, I was finished.
So I have until, was it 25 past 2.
Is there a student who's monitoring you, like taking care of the time? Is it Ineta? Yes.
Yeah, she will show you then. I'll have my watch.
Yes.
I forget to do that, you know, what I wrote down or something. I will write somewhere. I forget that.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you, Marek, for inviting me. I just heard that we had met something like 20 years ago. I thought that we had met only 15 years ago, but...
We were teenagers when we met.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so that's my subject. And that's who I am. By the way, how many are foreigners? How many Finns? Okay, 2 foreigners. Okay. Somebody still would like to come. So I'm an architect, and I got my master degree in Tampere. Tampere is about 100 kilometers. 75 from here. Please come.
Here's Fence.
Here is one. There are 2, if you want to separate you. So I'm a normal architect, but what I'm doing, or have been doing for the past 20 years is a bit abnormal. I got into the Chinese Feng Shui more than 20 years ago. So that's what I have been interested in for the half of my life. And I've had my own architect's office now exactly for 20 years. I just had my anniversary 2 weeks ago. But I really started concrete work 15 years ago. And everything that I have done, welcome, everything that I have done has had to do with this Chinese Feng Shui. What I do consultations, that's how they are called. I do home consultations, I do business consultations, meaning that people already have their homes or offices of all kinds of fields. And then I give advice based on using these Chinese concepts and of course my architectural knowledge. I've designed more than 20 houses as well. Among these business consultations, there have been many therapy rooms. I will show you in the very end one Snoezelen room, or this kind of a sense room that I made, or I was part of the team 20 years ago. And of course, the technology has advanced a little bit, so please bear with me. I'm also the founder of the Finnish Feng Shui Association. We also had a 20 years anniversary this year. And in fact, we made a grand tour around Finland with our association this year. We had one-day lectures in 6 cities. Probably somebody has heard about Feng Shui. So originally it comes from China. And I don't go into the history or about the background so much during this short lecture or workshop. But anyway, you can divide Feng Shui into 2 lines. One is about forms. So something that we can really physically see, feel, touch, hear, everything that we can experience with our senses. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on this lecture. Then there are things that are not visible. For me, they are time and directions. And those are things that the Chinese have hundreds of years also experienced and experimented. And that has to do with, that has divided into this compass school that I will leave totally from this 1 hour session. So I'm going to give you something that you probably can use in your everyday life and probably some ideas that you can bring into your practice or whatever is your work. This is a drawing that illustrates what Feng Shui has to do. Anyway, it has to do with the environment. There's a Feng Shui master with students. So there are two words. We are talking about mountains and water. Mountain has to do with everything that is supportive to us, meaning walls, chairs, whatever we can lean into. Water in this vocabulary means movement. It means virtual water. You have all, everybody of you have come from the door like the water and then spread all over. So here they're looking for a place to build a house or something. They are observing the nature. Over there is a compass. So that has to do with this compass methods. I didn't now bring my compass with me, as this is my only luggage for this trip. But if you want to know some more, so you can get into that. This is what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to give you the basic concepts, and these are the tools, the vocabulary that myself I have found extremely useful in my design. They are very flexible, so you can use them independent of the culture, independent of style. And so it's a kind of a checklist that you can use. One word of warning is that if you get interested in Feng Shui, just to let you know that Feng Shui really has the background of hundreds and even thousands of years. These basic form concepts, they come from the ancient times. The Feng Shui that is usually nowadays available in the West was invented 30 years ago in California. So whenever you read a book about Feng Shui, you might find that they say that you have to have something in this corner, you have to have red in this place. You are not supposed to have, you are not allowed to have this and that over there. Keep your alarms on at that point, because for me, I don't ever use the word bad or right. I don't use the words good or bad. Everything depends on the situation. We're talking about yin and yang, active, passive. We're talking about a concept called commanding position. I've already mentioned that it's the place that is the furthest from the door. She is now in command. Usually the strong people, they take the commanding position. So I have to be a bit careful. We're talking about energy, we're talking about chi flow, the same thing that, for example, acupuncturists deal, or if you go to a Chinese doctor. We're talking about sha chi, that has to do with something that we feel unpleasant somehow, whether it is a smell or a form or something. We're talking about the concept of Ming Tang later on. I will show you 4 animal theory, and I will very shortly mention about the 5 element theory. especially because of the last lecture we heard about the colors, because that's the tool to use colors. I wasn't supposed to talk about it so much now, but maybe I have to. These are Chinese concepts, but they are universal. As I already mentioned, we can use them independent of the culture. The Chinese people, they have the same body as we have. They have the same senses. The Chinese character over there, in fact, that means king or emperor. There are 3 lines: heaven, man, and earth. And the emperor is the one to connect all these 3. And we are all emperors, empresses. Empresses? What is the term? Empresses.
Emperors?
We understand the language.
Yeah, of our own life. When I sent the structure of this lecture to Maria last spring, I also mentioned on the website that I would be very pleased to find some examples of all of you. If there is some space that you would like to be discussing here, and you can imagine I got none. So, was it a week ago, I contacted Maria again and said, what shall we do now? And she gave me a name, this lady Anneli Suihkonen. She's an interior designer, and she made a thesis last year about this one therapy place in Lahti, and Lahti is again something like 70 kilometers from here. And I've never met this lady. I checked the thesis, and I thought that this is an excellent example to be presented here, because I think it's a very good design. I'm very, very critical person, because I look spaces from the person's point of view. I'm interested in the person's well-being, not so much about the style, or in that sense I'm a bit strange architect. I don't care so much about how things look like. I'm interested in how they feel, and I think you all can understand that from the point where you come from. So anyway, I'm going to use this as an example and demonstrate how, without even knowing anything about Feng Shui, she has been able to take these concepts and what she has done here. In a way, Feng Shui for me is a way of reading the space. As I just read that she's in the commanding position, this is something that it gives us a vocabulary, and later, when we learn a different language, whether it's French or Italian or something, in the beginning we really have to struggle. What was that word again? Emperor and
Empress.
whatever. So, but later on, if you get to know these Chinese Feng Shui concepts, they come from the backbone. You don't really have to think about them anymore. So this place, it has the words they are mentioned in Finnish, but on the upper row there are the offices, and there is a kitchen and so on. So this is what we are going to look during this session. Yin and Yang. It has to do with active things. Yang. Yin is about passive. Yang is about action. Yin is about rest. Yang is about light, brightness. Yin is about darkness. So all these things that we play around when we design, for example, a multisensory space. commanding position comes from the door. Everything near the door is more active. You have now been the doorman. Somebody knocks the door, you have to be alert. Was it somebody? So in a way, you can't rest there so much as we can over here. If something happens by the door, we have more time to react. Okay, somebody's coming with a knife. Okay, shall I throw the water, or shall I use this, or shall I take my mobile and call the police? So that has to do with how we, without even thinking, how we react to the space. This also, I try to be very scientific here, and there are these vestibular senses, for example, that are really the primary senses that we learn as a child, if we do. So, for example, the sense of what is up, what is down. On my point of view, one thing is that the floor is supposed to be very stable. So it means that I would really prefer the floor to be yin, and if there is something up, it would be better to be yang. Just thinking about the light and darkness, so preferably a bit darker floors than the ceiling. We today heard that somebody even had a black ceiling once in a lifetime. For me, ceiling has to do with mind. So whenever I meet persons who are depressed, I look at the ceilings, and I really would like the ceilings to be at least well lit, so that people would be happy. So this is a way of reading the space. Yin and yang also has to do with well, everything can be divided into these two parts. For example, textures. If something is smooth, then it's more yang. If something has a friction, it's more yin. So in a way, whenever I do some kind of design, and if I have two options to choose from, okay, shall we take a red door or a blue door? Then, okay, I can use just a simple yin and yang concept. Do I want people to find the door from this space? If it would be blue, you might not even find the door, but now it's red, okay, an exit. Just as we heard half an hour ago, something very active. The door is active, so let's put a red door, or some other bright color. Yin and yang in this space. I just mentioned that the door is active. So all this area by the door for me is yang, and whenever you go further, then you will find the yin places, the places that are for more rest. Of course, if a family comes here with their children, then there's all kinds of hassle with clothes, and especially during winter time, and who is here and where shall we go. So even noise, all kinds of dirt from the shoes and so on. That also gives hierarchy. So I would count 1, 2, 3. This would be the place for the boss. Because again, the commanding position, whoever is here, it's like king on the mountain in a way. This is all flat, but I'm now up here. This is the place of the janitor or the doorman. Whenever there is a door, so then you can again start to count. In this, I'm going to show you some photos or illustrations later on. here is a place for a kind of a cottage or a tent for relaxation. So when a child comes here, he or she feels safe, but also feels that he or she can, in a way, control the place. Here is another place for therapy or something. So the person here would be the authority, in a way, could take care of the situation. For example, if there are parents discussing, of course the parents are important, but the one who really, in a way, is in charge of the situation. For example, the timetable, okay, the next people will come later on. That would be the place for that. So, in a way, we think that we are very cultured and social and so on, but all these concepts, they come from the nature. These Chinese concepts, they are natural concepts. People in China, they have observed the nature, how plants grow, how the yearly process affects things. And so when we design spaces, the idea is to build them like organically, that there is the same, in a way, natural structure, how the energy comes, how it grows, where it stays. About colors, we just heard a lecture about blue and red. That was exactly like yin and yang. Somebody's coming?
Norman.
So, welcome. So, warm colors are yang, cool colors yin. Here, the staff members are staying in the kitchen, sometimes parents or somebody. But anyway, to bring this warmth, or now we just heard about the orange or lemon, so they might gain weight when they go to the to the kitchen because of this. They start to salivate immediately, or eat the avocados on the table. This is now from the therapy room. So what I understood from the thesis was that this is really, again, it's for children and people, the ones who have problems with their combining their senses and so on. So probably the age is something like this. So there are different spaces in the therapy room and different options that you can do there. Here there is this tent or whatever that is for the yin space in the yin corner. The warm colors, they are like alarms. Okay, the red one, beware, there is step. I probably would have put some red on the top of that also, so when you come down, you don't fall. Again, if somebody wants to climb the wall, bright colors. This will be, of course, much more filled with all kinds of toys and devices. That was very shortly about the yin and yang. Then the next concept would be qi, energy. Has to do with accessibility, logistics, how energy goes in the body, for example, how it flows, how things come in, how people come in, where they go, how they find their way. There is this concept Ming Tang. That means Ming is bright or light, and Tang is a bigger space or a wall. And that means the space in front of the door. In this space, the Mintang is too small. Every time somebody comes in, they pop into your back and you are disturbed. So in fact, in front of every door, I would say that we need these 2 wheelchairs, wheelchair circles, 1.5 meters to 3 meters. So that comes really from the scale of our body. And that also gives this kind of wow effect that, okay, where did I come? Where shall I go next? Qi also has to do with rhythm. If you are musically talented or somehow, you can understand also the space better. And I was in Japan in the early 80s, and I was really astonished about the concepts that they had there. That was something that, in a way, awakened me to these Eastern concepts. They have in Japan. They have a concept called Ma architecture, meaning time and space. And when we were walking in the parks, for example, this kind of talent that they had of thinking how you walk in the space, about the rhythm. You have to take 3 steps, then you have to turn, then you see something, then you continue. So in a way, this kind of, I would call it manipulating people in the space. And that is all about the Qi flow. In this space, I said that I really like the design what she has done, but this is the entrance. I don't like the Mintang. They have to leave the shoes somewhere. There is probably not quite enough space for the coats. But when you get into here, these are the wheelchair circles. So there is enough space for people to come in, even with their wheelchairs. And the old structure, I don't know, have the plan, was very complicated. The kitchen was here, there were small rooms, and you have to go here through the other room. So now here, with a curved wall, it really leaves people, so it's smooth. They had an old fireplace here, so they had to leave the chimney, and they have now covered it with this kind of a plaster wall. That's how it looks like. So this is the entrance. Smooth. She has also used different tactile feelings to have the mountain, the back wall a bit more rough and so on. To really feel that when you sit there, you can be supported. So again, these are something that you really don't have to be handicapped to understand. It's again for everybody to read the space. About Qi flow here, again near the door, that's more active. They have the trampoline here. If you have a trampoline by the door, you are active anyway. So I would really put something active by the door. I might hit my head into those, but well, I can't have everything. It's in a way quite nice. Bright colors by the door. I didn't quite mention about the Shachi, and let's go a bit back. About Chachi, I mentioned that everything that we feel is a bit uncomfortable. One thing in physical environment is this. You know that I'm not going to hit you. Well, we don't know each other at all, but anyway. And if I would hit, this would happen. But anyway, feels
Not very good.
awful. And because we are empathic person, people, everybody, we all feel her pain. and everything that is really hurting us, like the forms, like the shelf on the wall, I would call now from the Chinese vocabulary, I would call it shachi. These things in the ceiling, those are for hanging all kinds of things, hammocks or whatever. So they have to be there, but I would not really like to be under something hanging above me. These lamps, for example, they are above the table. The table doesn't mind, but if we would sit under them, we would be troubled. Also, this kind of ceiling that comes down might cut your hand over there if you go on her side too much. So this kind of things, for me as an architect, or if I do consultations, for me the floor plan isn't enough. I also have to look at the ceiling. There might be something about ventilation or something. But anyway, for hanging things, for playing, for that is something that is active anyway. You don't really lie down there or work for many hours, so I can accept that. For animal theory, I mentioned about mountain and water, something that we support ourselves. But may I use you as an example again? Sorry.
Yes, fine.
Yeah. So here I have it as an armchair. We need more support to our back. This gentleman there has been in trouble. Everybody comes from his back. So you might not even remember so much about this lecture. Fortunately, you have your video, so you can listen to it later on. But to have your back supported, that will give us security, whatever you are doing, or whether it's a patient or somebody. You need a view in front of you. But so that would be the water flowing or the water that you're looking. But some lecturer might even hit you from the side. So you need the armrests. You need something. In a way, you need the horseshoe arrangement. You guys over there are very well supported. You have the wall behind you. You have some walls beside you. My situation isn't so good because I can't really see I can't feel the glass. For our brain, glass doesn't exist. You have you have walked through the glass doors and so on. I even almost did this when we were going to the lunch. I couldn't really see the glass doors downstairs. So for these 4 directions now, the Chinese have given the words from the just normal environment. We all have dragons in our ordinary life. One thing is that now we also have to do with, if we combine this with yin and yang, we have right brain and left brain. And most of us are right-handed, and anyway, if we are not, we have the heart on our left-hand side. So we need a little bit more support from the left-hand side. That's why I have drawn the higher lamp on the left-hand side and the table lamp on the table a bit lower. So we need more support to the back, a bit more, a bit less to the left, again a little bit more, less on the right, and space enough in front. So this is something that really gives us support, and I would say that especially patients or somebody who might feel a bit insecure, this would be especially important for that. What did I do? Oh dear. Again, do we find the all animals here? I hope we do from the offices. You all probably have your own desk somewhere. I would always find a solid wall behind me. I would preferably have a wall on the left-hand side, and then the exit, if somebody calls fire, I would run to the front right. So I would really dream of them all sitting over there, looking there, sitting. Okay, here the door is over here. I would put her or him sitting here, looking there. Here, perfect from this point of view. If you look at these people, somebody's hurting their back. I would really turn the table so that these people would, they have their back to the kitchen, and these would have their support from the wall. So, very basic things. This is what she has done. It seems that this green wall also had some kind of structure. Now it's coming to the room, so you can really feel it, and if your eyesight is not so good, you can again, you're adding
Okay.
There's a great feeling. Bye-bye.
And again, the back wall, the mountain, it has a little bit more texture. And here the floor is more stable. So this was something that I was not supposed to talk so much about. This is a tool for the Chinese to divide again the world. There are concepts to divide the world into two parts, yin and yang. You can divide the world into three parts: heaven, human, earth. You can divide the world into four. We have four directions, or main directions. We have four seasons. If we divide the world into five, then we have a tool to divide it into colors, or the visual colors that we can really experience on this planet. I've heard somebody say that when we are dead, then we can see all this ultraviolet, and so I'm really looking forward to that. Something to look forward. So, something to add to this, these colors that we just heard 1 hour ago. This is again something that is flexible. We just can't say that this is fire, this is earth. We are talking about the 5 phases of Qi, and in English language these 5 phases are called elements, and it's a bit confusing because in Finnish it's alkuaine, so we are not talking about matter, we are talking about in a way the continuation of Qi. There are words, now unfortunately these are in Finnish. There is water, there is earth, there is fire, earth and metal. And for example wood, this table is probably made of some kind of wood, but the material is not the element. When we divide the world into elements according to the Chinese teachings, we are more concerned about the color and the shape. This is square, earth, it's brownish, yellowish, it's earth. I would, again, in the compass methods, when I use a more elaborate methods, I would consider this to be an earth table. We were talking about, or in the downstairs there was talk about water or blue color. That has to do with water element in Chinese. It has to do with winter. It has to do with cold. It has to do with north. We saw, what did we see? Penguins and icebergs and whatever. Fire. Red color, the most fiery color. Also shapes. If there is something very triangular or stars, or if there is all kinds of textures or kind of what do you call it? Yeah. Patterns, yeah. You also, your scarf has several colors, so I would call that fire, and so on. So, if we're talking about colors, in Chinese language, then we can turn them into this, these elements. And as we already know, they have an effect on moods. And Feng Shui is really all about, as I said, that you don't have to do something, or you don't have to avoid something. It's all about what we want to do, and that's again like with multisensory spaces. There is something that we want to accomplish or try, and for me, Feng Shui gives the tools, easy tools to get easily into this design solution that I'm looking for. Okay, now I used an example of somebody else's design, and I have been in this one team that we designed a very small room, a sensory room, 14 years ago, so quite a long time ago. And unfortunately this room doesn't exist anymore. I just contacted this place also last week, and I talked with a nurse or a person who used to be a nurse in this place at that time. And she told me that this was the dementia department. They moved to another floor in 2007, and that's when this room was transformed into an ordinary living room. So unfortunately, there is no this kind of sensory room in that place anymore. And this was for me. This was a very a different because I have usually the work that I do very independently. But in this one, I was part of the team, and the leader of the team was Jukka Jokiniemi, my very good friend, who talked yesterday. So and then Harri Suoperä, he's from a company that makes Barisol ceilings. So this kind of rubber ceilings that you can hide all kinds of equipment behind it. And so there were mainly 3 of us who designed this. Okay, this is the room. In my plan, I don't quite remember how the windows were. They're up there. Yeah. And but anyway, we covered all these with curtains. And there is a door that already gives us the structure. And this is what we did. So, there are 2 places for resting. There is this kind of place on the floor. We used some water because there was place for the water. So there are active things that you can play around with a table with the water, and then we played with some colors and whatever. So now bear with me, these photos are old. I just got them from Harry a week ago, and but here what it looks like. So this is by the door, so the door can also be covered so that people don't escape, because this is really for dementia department. For playing with senses, for essential oils by the water, taking care of lamps or something. Then the technology at that time was slides. So the idea was to show some horses or whatever, tools or whatever that people would recognize. And possibility to play with colors, with lights. At that time, this Barisol ceiling thing was a little bit new. So Jukka, as a lighting designer, planned that there will be these bright lights or colorful lights that can be used. Nowadays, they are a bit too close to the ceiling, so you can really see where they are. But nowadays, we would have done more in a way, so that the whole ceiling would be lit. The windows are behind that. And look at the technology. There was a Kia projector. Or slides. And again, if somebody is beside the person, I think that was a bed for vibration or something. But again, if somebody is supporting you, it would be better to have the person supporting me on the left-hand side. Quite psychedelic, I would call this. Cool. And now it was quite interesting when I talked with this previous nurse, and she told me that these dementic people, they had difficulties in coming into this room, because this was really like a white room. And they thought that they were dead. What they had to do was they brought some more familiar objects, for example, more colorful textiles or something. And this was what really I heard from last week. That put me into thinking that, okay, this kind of white rooms, excellent, again, for children, but, and I talked with Janet about this as well, that this kind of familiar objects that you really remember, or I would now suggest more, but this was really 15 years ago and something new. We thought that the photos of these objects or things would be enough, but and of course it depends on how what kind of people use the space, how familiar are they with the concept of these sensory rooms. So, it seems that I have 2 minutes for questions. Thank you. You're welcome.
the characteristics of the four animals? You have the turtle, the bird, the dragon. What does that represent? Each
Well,
one of them.
I would say that they are just something from the normal world. Just as in the 5-element theory, fire is really not fire.
Right.
The door is not in fire at the moment. So the turtle is something that is a bit stable. It's a bit hard to
Yes.
get it over. The dragon, strong.
Okay.
Tiger, a bit feminine. There are also this yin and yang division. Dragon is masculine, tiger feminine. The bird is something for the for the Chinese. They have really they have taken these concepts from the ordinary life, so that it's easy to pass them on to anybody. It's easy to remember. That's how I would answer.
And the second question, you said, like, looking at the door, that you would put a desk to the right, but close by the window for it to be person in control. Why did you put the bed?
The same. If this would be my bedroom,
Yeah.
I would
So even the bed, to give that
put it
control?
over there.
Okay.
And not facing the door, otherwise the janitor would come in or somebody would come in. Or if I would place it somewhere else, I would feel that something else is in a way running my life. But this is only if I do a consultation into home office or wherever, I can't just trust these form concepts. They are important because there is something that we all react very easily, and in a way they are number one. But as a table, it needs at least 3 legs to stand. So in addition to that, I need all kinds of information about, of course, the needs of the people and so on. I need the information that I get from the compass, usually very complicated compass methods, and they give me some kind of X-ray of the personality of the room, or the space, or the house, or the office, or factory, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that's why when I give courses or lectures, it's easy and safe to give these form school concepts, because you can't really go so much wrong with this. And they are easily applied to every situation. And even if you don't design anything, it also has to do with how you place yourself into the room. If this would be an important meeting, she would really run the conversation. And if we were choosing a board for some kind of association, you wouldn't be chosen because you are already on the way out.
I have one more question. So do you have like an assessment tool or a form, or when you're designing or giving a proposal, do you do it within these areas? Your report?
Well, most of my consultations are home consultations, and the needs in homes are usually very similar. We need rest, we need kitchen, we need... But every time I ask people to write down their needs, their wishes, and their dreams.
Yeah.
And that already tells me quite a lot. And then, of course, we discuss. This afternoon we also had a lecture about this Swedish guy. He was talking about, how was it? About the, okay, I will now extend for 1 minute. About the, okay, I can't read it. He had 2 lines, and then there was something in between that was lacking. And for me, whenever I do a consultation, it has 1 year guarantee. So it's in a way, it was about that you ask the needs, and then you do the design, and then the test person just
Yes,
accepts it
yes.
or not. So in a way, I have the test period whenever I give advice. Okay, we buy a sofa, we buy a thing to this therapy room. So there is time for me to interact with the customer as well during this one.
Okay, I will talk about white rooms a little bit, because I think this is experience from Hämeenlinna area within care for elderly, and the most difficult thing maybe to say, but I think white room is actually a colorful room, and you would never allow anybody, any patient, any client to get in the white room as it's white.
Yeah.
There should be some contrast light, something to kind of focus where am I going to, that I'm not lost. Maybe a lamp, colorful lamp, maybe a carpet, a circle, that I'm oriented where I'm going to. Because otherwise you are like floating in a space without any directions, and I'm not amazed if somebody is lost in a white room as a white room.
Yeah, I assume that happened in this therapy.
Yeah. And also when I teach my students, I tell these things that it's different. Actually, it's a very misleading word, white room.
Yeah.
I would name it colorful room. It also, I have always thought that it's only a good surface for colorful lamps to project. If it's a white room, then it's easy to make a colorful room.
And you mentioned this one when we were in that place in the white room, you told us it's not just white.
But it's my way of teaching that I don't think that white room as a white place is anything like a therapeutic room or anything, a safe place to stay. It's boring and dangerous and scary for me.
So the white room is the mountain, and then to provide its structure, you have to have that water. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I am so
Okay.
sorry. We have to try.
But she's the boss.